I'm about to explain to you one of the most brutal ultra running workouts I've ever done, and I'm going to tell you a little story about how I got to this point. At the time, I was living in Delray Beach, Florida, and I was dating this girl. We lived together, and in this time, I was currently training for a 100-mile race. And so I was doing a lot of long runs and a lot of biking and just really trying to exhaust the legs and beat them down. At the same time, I was doing 100 days of yoga in a row, an hour each day, and I didn't quite get all the way through the 100 days, but at this time, I was doing the yoga. And so I had a plan for a long run and some biking and some yoga. And the thing that was going on is the girl I was dating at the time, her dad was coming to visit, and we were going to have lunch. And so we show up at the time that he had said he was going to be there. It must have been like 12 or 1. And of course he was excited to see his daughters, and they were, chatting, and he was kind of behind on making lunch. And so 30 minutes rolls by and I'm okay. Like, I've been hungry before. I'm not like necessarily super focused on eating. My problem was I had a lot of training I wanted to get in before the evening. And so, 30 minutes go by, an hour, 2 hours, we're finally eating, and we're there for 4 hours, which is way longer than I was expecting. Now, I was honestly getting kind of flustered and upset because I, wanted to get my training in. And part of the reason why I waited to get my training in until the afternoon is because I had things to do in the morning, and the training I wanted to get in I wasn't going to be able to fit it all in before the time we agreed to lunch. And so I, put it off until the afternoon, and we spent way more time than I thought together. So obviously I was getting a little upset. Probably a little, sassy in a way, which I don't necessarily feel good about. I just am a man of routine, and when I'm told this is the time and this is how long, I usually kind of expect that, right? And so when we spend time at lunch and I go home with my girlfriend at the time and I'm upset, and so I tell her I'm gonna go train all night. And my long run, I think I originally planned was like 20 miles, but for me, I just wanted to, I was frustrated. I wanted to kind of get it all out. And because I needed to do biking and yoga, and then I had to do this the next day, this is the workout I decided to do. So when we got home, I did an hour of yoga. And then after the hour of yoga, I hopped on the bike for 20 miles. And after the 20 miles, I went for a 30-mile long run. And then when I came back home, 3, 4 in the morning, did 20 miles on the bike and then an hour of yoga to make sure I got my 2 days of yoga in a row. And this was probably one of the most crazy, insane, tough workouts I've ever done. And I think maybe some people would even say it's unnecessary or it's overtraining. And I know to some degree that's valid, though. The reason why I want to make this video is I wanted to talk about the benefit of doing something outrageous like that. Because it wasn't necessarily exactly about the training stimulus. I think a lot of people in the running world or ultra world are very focused on what is optimal and what is the most important thing or the best way or the efficient way to train. And I'm all about that, right? Like, efficiency is important. Making sure you don't injure yourself, that's incredibly important. The thing I learned from this workout, because I was, training for like 10 hours straight, the thing I learned from this workout, or really caught out of it, was this confidence. This confidence that I could train for a long time, get through it, and come out the other side healthy. Believe me, after I got through this crazy event, I was definitely recovering. I was eating, drinking, sleeping, stretching to make sure I fully recovered. I live by this philosophy. Train like you're trying to kill yourself. Recover like you're trying to stay alive. And that's what I was doing in this situation. And I walked away with this newfound confidence for training, because this was probably a year and a half into training and doing ultras. And when you do something crazy like this, outrageous, maybe unconventional for gains or training, maybe overtraining, whatever people want to say about it, when I have a 10-mile run or maybe a gym session that I don't really want to do, but it's in my training plan and it's scheduled, I oftentimes remember this crazy workout and training morning, evening, day that I had. And when you've done something so outside of the box and maybe unconventional or not optimal, and then you have something simple or easy, like an hour in the gym or a 10-mile run or maybe 30 minutes of stretching, it's so much easier to do that because you set the bar. And I encourage everyone to do something crazy like this, whether you do the workout I did, an hour of yoga, 20 miles of biking, 30 miles running, 20 miles of biking, an hour of yoga, all through the night, by the way, so with some sleep deprivation. Whether you do something like that, or you just pick something that's unreasonable, what this is doing is setting the bar. So when you have simpler, easier things, you are able to do that without having to, really think about it, or you at least have this confidence of, I was able to do that, so I can do this, right? And that's the importance of doing something like this. I encourage everyone to go unoptimal for a period of time, or at least for one workout, because when you're able to set that bar, you recover, you come out come out the other side so much stronger, and it's a great comparison for when you have simpler things. So I love to hear what crazy workouts or anything you've done, and I would, love to maybe share some other ones I've done if you have questions about that. I hope to see you on the trail sometime soon.